Alright, heading up to Lock Haven for the Frozen Snot. This is the night before. Got a 2-hour drive like ahead of me yet. I'm just at Evansburg. Going up to one of the craziest races around, at least in PA. Probably the most dangerous. Competition's gonna be really steep tomorrow. A bunch of crazy assholes, I guess is what you want to call it. A lot of friends are actually gonna be coming up. Probably 15-20 people, close friends, and then another like 40-50 friends of mine. Hopefully everybody makes it safe to and from the race, and safe during the race tomorrow. Last year my buddy told me, as we were talking after the race, I was looking at the pace and stuff. I was like, man, I should have did the 8-miler. Maybe could have tried to win that last year. And he's like, oh, you couldn't have did that. So this year I'm doing the 8-miler instead of the 13, and that's sort of the reason behind it. I sort of kept that hush. People just didn't talk shit all winter long as I was training a little bit. Been doing a lot of hills and prep, so we'll see if my training pays off. This is actually, I'm using this as a training run for my spring and my summer races to see how it's going. If I'm doing things the right way with like all the added biking I've been doing, the hill repeats. So if I come home not sore tomorrow, uninjured, I'm going to consider my training going pretty well. I'd like to take the win, but we'll see, because it's supposed to be 10 degrees and I really hate running in the cold. It's 8 degrees right now in Evansburg. It's going to be a couple of degrees colder by the time I get to Lock Haven. So we'll see what happens. Weather conditions up here generally more horrible, but the course I guess right now is probably about the clearest it's ever been, except for the top of the mountains. Another reason for the 8-miler this year is because after the 8-miler you go up and you actually like do the I think it's called the Beast. It's like a 1,300 foot like climb after an aid station. But that big climb after, you know, you're running for a couple miles, I get all sweaty, then I get so cold because you have to take your time going up the Beast. Just because there's no way around it. You have to go up it slow just because of the way the boulders are and how steep it is. They're actual boulders that you have to pretty much use your hands to climb up in some sections and watch your footing if there's snow and ice. I just didn't feel like being cold and frozen and getting, you know, that verge of hypothermic again this year like I have the last 3 or 4 times I've done the Frozen Snot. But again, the conditions this year are going to be a lot better, but it's going to be probably colder than some previous years. So we'll see how it goes. Like I said, the competition's always really steep. You got elites like Zach Miller, Matt Lipsy, and Reagan McCoy come in and like do the race. So when those people show up, it's like, damn, you just like want to watch them race a little bit, see how they handle the course. Goal is to video a little bit at the finish line. You know, the 13-milers coming in, maybe like the winners of the 13-milers. So I'm hoping to get done with the 8 real quick. Well, quick enough where I could change, set up and video a little bit of the 13s coming in. At least the winners. I know I'll be able to film some of the 13s at some point, and even the 8s still coming in. But I like to try to get the head elite pack of the 13 if possible. Of course, that depends on who shows up. If like Matt and Zach show up, by the time I finish the 8, they're probably already done with the 13, already changed, warm and eaten. So we'll see how that goes, but I would like to catch some of them. Maybe talk to some people afterwards and interview them. But the first goal tomorrow is to come home uninjured, unhypothermic, and happy. Second goal is to win. Third goal would be to try to, you know, crush the course record with it being a really dry year from what they're talking about. Probably the best year to run it without no snow and ice. So we'll see if I could do that. But like, I think Lipsy has the record, so there's probably no chance that I could even come within 15 minutes of it because he's just so much better. But it'd be cool to at least try that and chase that as a goal. But again, if my training goes right and I've been doing things the right way, I shouldn't be sore tomorrow or even Sunday. I should be able to run the hills a lot better, the declines, stuff like that. So that springboards me into, you know, next month's Raccoon 100 miler, and then like the races I have in April, like Dirty Kiln on the dam, you know, like, wait, there's that May. Shit, I can't even remember what months races are, but stuff like that springboard me into my spring races, using it as a stepping stool to see where I'm at. And if I come home sore or shit doesn't go right, then I know I have to step up my training or adjust my training a little bit, you know, get outside and do a lot more technical trails, hit trails period, do a lot more hills, you know, just to see where I'm at. So tomorrow's going to be a good test. Looking forward to it. Looking forward to seeing my friends, hanging out with a bunch of like-minded people, seeing some awesome volunteers, because the awesome volunteers at this race, man, it could be 5 degrees tomorrow. They're going to have a smile on their face. They're going to be bundled up, but they're still going to be having a good time, whether they're just pointing people in the right directions, or they're at the Bacon Aid station, or they're at the Split, whatever they're doing. Some people actually have like little fires in the woods as they're pointing you to try to stay warm and safe. But the race does look out for you, which is always nice. The race director makes sure everything's running smoothly. There's never been like really any issues with registration, flagging, the after party, stuff like that. It's always been spot on and ran pretty good. I'm expecting nothing less tomorrow. They've already shown some of the flagging that they've done, so people get that in their mind, what it's going to look like, what to look for. They did some work on some crossings, so I'm looking forward to seeing how those go, because there's a couple like creek crossings that you get your feet wet. So it'll be nice tomorrow if we can keep our feet dry, because it's been a little dry winter so far. I don't know, just hopefully I have a good time. Hopefully I have a good race. I can pull one out of my ass and, you know, take it home. But again, the competition's always so steep up here, and these people that run this race are so familiar with the trail, and they run these sections all the time, so I'm in such a disadvantage just from a pure knowledge standpoint of what I'm going to encounter and how to attack it. It really does make a huge difference. Even though I've ran it a few times, I can't think in the back of my mind right now what's coming next or whatever, because how many times I've ran it, we'll say 4 or 5 now, you know, I've never really pushed the limit, so I don't really index it in the back of my mind for next year or to remember. So it's going to be a little bit different if I try to speed up a little bit. So at least it's safe, and early on I'm not going to have to wear spikes or anything, which is going to be huge. I hate wearing spikes, and I hate running, well, because the icy and shitty conditions make you wear the spikes. So looking forward to not having to do that this year. And other than that, as I already said once or twice, I'm going to, you know, use this as a springboard for my spring races, see where I'm at for summer and fall. And I'm looking forward to the 3,000 plus feet of gain in the 8 miles, which averages like 450. I think it's 450 or whatever the math is. It's over 400 feet per mile gain. So we'll see how that goes. Other than that, I'll check back in tomorrow. Hopefully I get some good footage, or at least a good story. And if anybody's traveling and sees this, safe travels to the race, safe travels home tomorrow and during. And I'll see you guys there.